What is demand like in mainland China?
Well, demand is still there. We've just announced an investment of up to $150 million there to build a single malt whiskey distillery in China. But demand is very strong for cognac, for Scotch. There's good consumer demand there.
You don't do multi, do you? I've had some of that. You ever had some of that in China?
Oh, I've had some of that.
Oh, that's brutal. I hope you're making better stuff than that. The consumer is getting stronger in China. What are your estimates in terms of what you're actually going to see in terms of organic growth rates in that country?
We believe we can grow China high single-digit, low double-digit value growth for the foreseeable future in a sustainable way, just because of the emergence of middle-class Chinese consumers, very clearly.
Well, you've got tough comps because last year you had 23% organic revenue growth in Asia. Is the alcohol that is sold there made there? In other words, are you dealing with tariffs when it comes to selling in China?
No, the reality is our industry, and Pernod Ricard in particular, we're a terroir-based industry. So basically, appellations and origins. If you want to drink American whiskey, it needs to come from America. If you want to drink cognac, it has to come from France. And if you want Scotch or Irish, it has to come respectively from Scotland or from Ireland.
So what's the demand like for American whiskey right now overseas, and how are you navigating the tariff rates?
Well, demand for American whiskey is strong, both in the U.S. and internationally, and that's what also led us to invest heavily in American whiskey more recently, basically adding to our portfolio of brands Kentucky-based whiskey, Rabbit Hole bourbon, and also TX whiskey from Texas. And hopefully soon as well, Jefferson whiskey, part of the Castle Brands portfolio.
When you're looking at these emerging brands to grab onto at the same time that you're attempting to kind of reinforce customer loyalty to these, hundreds of year old brands, how do you balance it, and where do you think tastes are moving to right now? Is it toward more niche brands?
People like to have a repertoire of brands. They really like big blockbuster, strong, high quality, strong heritage brands, while at the same time, sometimes having a local alternative or a niche brand. And the good thing about Pernod Ricard is we have both. We have strong international strategic brands, and we also have what we call specialty brands. So we really have both.
What's going on with Absolut? Is vodka no longer in vogue?
Well, vodka in the U.S. is the second largest spirit segment behind whiskey. So it's just struggling a little bit in the U.S., and competition is quite tough. But outside the U.S., vodka is very strong. Talk about China. Absolut in China grew more than 30%. Absolut in India grew more than 30%. And Absolut grew very nicely in Western Europe. So it's just in the U.S. where right now tequila, cognac, and whiskey is probably more dynamic than vodka.
Interesting. I mean, I've heard this from Diageo too. The U.S. trends are not necessarily the global trends in terms of people's preferences. Like, I know gin is exploding in Europe right now. I'm not sure how hot it is in the U.S.
You're absolutely correct. And the good news is if you have a wide portfolio of brands covering basically all categories, such as we do, you have cycles a little bit everywhere. And right now in the U.S., it's good to have brands like Jameson Irish whiskey, such as the Glenlivet single malt, or such as tequila, which is quite hot with Avión and Altos. But Absolut in France, for instance, is one of the fastest growing brands there.
And finally, how would you characterize sort of consumer behavior worldwide? I mean, would you say it is strong?
Yeah, number one is strong, but with a strong desire for brands, high quality brands. I think premiumization, clearly led by the U.S. basically, people trading up to higher quality marks in the U.S. is very strong, and globally as well. And healthiness and well-being, a very strong trend. People probably wanting to drink a little bit less, but much better.